Right? Let's get into this. The 2026 World Cup is practically knocking on our door. And guys, it's going to be the biggest global tournament we have ever seen. We are talking 3 host nations, a massive 48-team field, and 1,248 players all fighting for the ultimate prize in football. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the absolute best storylines, the fiercest rivalries, and the rising stars you desperately need to watch. Think of this like we're just sitting at the pub, having a pint and talking about the beautiful game. Let's dive in. 60 years. Now, if you're an England fan, that isn't just a number, it is a heavy, heavy burden. It represents 6 decades of sheer World Cup heartbreak since that historic win on home soil way back in 1966. I mean, they've come agonizingly close since. We all remember the semifinals in 1990 and 2018, but as they board that plane for North America, the pressure on the 3 Lions is literally at a fever pitch.
But before we get to the heavyweights, let's quickly map out the summer so you know exactly when the magic is happening. The action kicks off June 11th with the group stages. And because of this wild expanded format, we've now got a round of 32 starting June 28th. That rolls into the round of 16 on the 4th of July, quarterfinals on July 9th, and the whole shebang wraps up with a grand finale on July 19th. Seriously, mark your calendars, because this month-long sprint across North America is going to be absolutely unmissable.
Okay, so you might be wondering, does playing at home actually give our 3 co-hosts an edge? Well, if we look at the Opta supercomputer data, the answer is a resounding yes. Notice those massive numbers for Mexico. They are heavily favored here with nearly an 88% chance to advance out of Group A, where they're taking on teams like South Africa and South Korea. Canada and the U.S. men's national team are also sitting pretty comfortably with high 70s to advance. Oh, and get this, there's actually a devilish little scenario where the U.S. tops its group and Canada finishes 3rd, setting up a massive knockout clash between the two. How fun would that be?
Heavyweights and haunted histories. Let's pivot to the global giants, starting with the immense pressure cooker that is the English national team.
Because of the new 48-team format, England is all the way down in Group L alongside Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. And if you know your recent history, you know Croatia famously stunned England in the 2018 semifinals. It's a group absolutely packed with tension, and manager Thomas Tuchel has made some huge controversial calls. Look at what he's saying here. He made the stunning choice to drop massive stars like Cole Palmer and Phil Foden, 2 of the most inventive players in the Premier League, because, in his words, it's about chemistry. He's building a system-first squad built around Jude Bellingham and the lethal finishing of Harry Kane. It's a massive gamble. If it works, he's a genius. If it fails, that 60-year drought just keeps on going.
Let's jump over to another European giant, France. The 2018 champions and 2022 runners-up are arriving with just staggeringly stacked firepower. We are talking Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembélé, and Michael Olise. Get this, they scored 16 goals in just 6 qualifying matches. They are an absolute offensive juggernaut, and manager Didier Deschamps knows this is his final tournament at the helm. They are heavy favorites, for sure, but the draw, well, it definitely didn't do them any favors. Which brings us to the ultimate group of death. Every single World Cup has one, and this year it is Group I. If you are a casual fan, this is the group you need to watch. The storylines, the history, the sheer talent, it is completely off the charts. You've got France, obviously the favorites, but right below them is Senegal, the African powerhouse boasting stars like Sadio Mane. And if you love a bit of World Cup nostalgia, you'll remember Senegal's shockingly upset defending champions France in the opening game of the 2002 World Cup. Talk about history repeating itself. Plus, you have Iraq returning after 40 long years, and the ultimate dark horse, Norway. And because Norway is in this group, just look at what we're getting. An absolute dream striker matchup. June 26th, Boston, France versus Norway. Kylian Mbappe, who already has 12 goals in just 14 World Cup games, going head-to-head with Erling Haaland, who has a terrifying 55 goals and 49 caps for Norway. That is literally the 2 deadliest finishers on the planet, sharing the exact same pitch at the absolute peak of their powers. This right here is why we watch the beautiful game.
Next-gen breakout stars. The World Cup isn't just about the established legends, it's where the new ones are forged. Let's shift gears to the wonder kids you need to know about before they sign for £100 million. First up is Gilberto Mora. Get this, he is just 17 years old, making him the youngest player in the entire tournament. Imagine the immense pressure on this kid. He isn't just riding the bench, he's being asked to be the main creative force behind striker Raul Jimenez for the host nation Mexico. Europe's biggest clubs are already circling like sharks, so seeing how he handles the pressure of a home World Cup is going to be fascinating.
Then we have Scotland's Ben Gannon-Doig. He's a really dynamic 20-year-old winger who just bagged a massive £25 million move to Bournemouth. Now, Scotland has never reached the knockout stages of a World Cup. If they are going to finally break that curse in Group C against brutal teams like Brazil and Morocco, it is absolutely going to require the physical, explosive dribbling magic that Gannon-Doig brings to the table.
And hey, remember Norway from our group of death? Well, Erling Haaland doesn't score all those goals completely by himself. You've got to meet Antonio Nusa. He's 21, and they literally call him the Norwegian Neymar. That tells you everything, right? His electric dribbling skills and his ability to cut inside from the left flank make him incredibly dangerous. He is going to be absolutely crucial in supplying Norway's Terminator with the service he needs to shock France and Senegal.
The ultimate dream, Messi versus Ronaldo. Okay, let's build up to the absolute peak of football romanticism. We've talked about the Wonder Kids, the heavyweights, and the group of death. But hovering over this entire tournament is the prospect of one last showdown between the two undisputed GOATs of this generation. Can anything top them meeting here? Honestly, no way. For nearly 2 decades, the entire football world has revolved around Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi is coming in hot to headline Argentina's title defense in Group J, while Ronaldo is desperately chasing that elusive World Cup trophy with Portugal in Group K. The stakes are monumental because this is almost certainly their final bow on the global stage.
So, how could this dream matchup actually happen? Let's totally geek out over the bracket scenarios for a second. If Argentina finishes top of Group J and Portugal tops Group K, they are on a direct collision course for an epic quarterfinal clash. If they both somehow stumble and finish second in their groups, they'd meet even earlier in the round of 16. But if one team wins their group and the other comes in second, the only place they can possibly meet is in the final itself. Just imagine that.
You know, this quote from Portugal manager Roberto Martinez perfectly captures the insane dedication of Cristiano Ronaldo. At his age, he still has 143 international goals. 143! That's the most in history, and he is still giving 24 hours a day to the national team. Both he and Messi have completely rewritten the rules on how players remain at the highest level. A matchup between them wouldn't just be a game, it would be a celebration of the two greatest careers we have ever witnessed.
And that brings us to the ultimate question. After a month of Haaland versus Mbappe, the pressure of a home World Cup for the US, Mexico, and Canada, the tension of England's 60-year ghost, and the lingering possibility of Messi versus Ronaldo, who survives it all? Who lifts that golden trophy in New Jersey on July 19th? Think about the brackets, look at the potential paths we've laid out, and make your predictions, because this tournament is going to be absolutely historic. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, enjoy the matches.